There is some evidence coming out now that it actually resulted in more lethal forms of force. So I think sometimes when people say ban chokeholds, do you think they really know what they're asking for?
They 100% don't know what they're asking for. Banning chokeholds is a horrible idea.
This brings us to the idea of chokeholds, because we don't want police officers right now, or a lot of people are calling for defunding. Okay, that's an extreme example, but it is the Black Lives Matter movement right now. Their leadership call is to totally abolish and defund the police. Scale it back, defunding the police, diverting those funds to social workers or workers who have non-lethal force at all as part of their protocol. Then scale that back a little bit. You know, we end up with, okay, maybe we get rid of guns from police officers. That's a call. But then I've also seen, after Rayshard Brooks, we shouldn't have tasers. And now this general idea, no chokeholds. Well, France just reversed that. I don't know if you've been following this. They just reversed their ban on chokeholds.
No, I'm not really up on the French news, but you can fill me in.
Well, you're out there in the military. You ever have any French people there, French allies out there?
I never work. We do work with the French sometimes. I never work with the French.
Yeah, I didn't know if they come with I'm French Canadian. I didn't know if they come with a standard issue white flag. But Canadians did go, obviously, into Afghanistan and a lot of places. And some great soldiers come out of Canada, just not nearly as many of them as you have in the United States. But the French just reversed it. They just reversed a ban on chokeholds. So it was banned, and they reversed it because the French police argued that the ban put their lives at risk. And there is some evidence coming out now that it actually resulted in more lethal forms of force. So I think sometimes when people say ban chokeholds, do you think they really know what they're asking for?
They 100% don't know what they're asking for. Banning chokeholds is a horrible idea. And when you think about what you need to do to make someone comply, and you can't use a chokehold, chokehold is the absolute best way to get someone to comply. Mm-hmm. It's safe 99.9% of the time. You know, you and I, being jiu-jitsu players, we've choked thousands of people and been choked thousands of times. Yeah. And I've never been hurt from a chokehold. I've never hurt someone from a chokehold ever. Thousands and thousands and thousands of repetitions. And here's the deal. If I want to subdue you and I'm not allowed to choke you, guess what I have to do? I have to hit you. Right. I have to hit you in the head, and I have to hit you in the head usually with an object. And this is if I'm not shooting you. Right. So I pull out my baton and I start hitting you in the head. I have seen individuals take, 4, 5, 8 shots to the head with batons or with weapon strikes and be perfectly fine and keep fighting. Maybe not be perfectly fine, but they keep fighting. They keep fighting. Yeah. And finally, you have to beat someone until they stop. I think Rodney King is a great example of that. Rodney King, a chokehold would have been. There would have been no video. There would have been no riots, nothing. Somebody would have known what to do there. They would have gone and put Rodney King to sleep, cuffed him, put him in the back of the car, and you'd have been fine. Instead, the only thing those cops knew how to do was hit him in the head. Well, hitting someone in the head, just like when you watch a boxing match, how often does someone in a boxing match actually get knocked out?
Right.
It doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's hard to knock someone out.
Right.
How often, when you get a choke on someone, they're going to sleep. That's all there is to it. And the great thing is, once you let go of the choke, they wake back up. They're perfectly fine. There's no brain trauma. They're not marked up. It's the best way to subdue someone, and to take that skill set away from the cops is a big mistake.
Well, here's kind of an extreme example to make a point. Anyone out there, okay, let's say you have to fight. You have to fight until it's finished with Mike Tyson. Okay, anyone else out there? How do you think that ends up? Now, you have to fight until a finish with Jocko Willink. Jocko Willink can end that fight without anyone ever so much as having a scratch because of the tools that you go to. A lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand the limit of tools. That's why we see so much damage in boxing too, and it's because of the training where you're limited in your tools and you're hitting the head nonstop. And I think a lot of people don't. I mean, you just had Nancy Pelosi say that police chokeholds are a moderate. She said it was a lynching. Those were the words that she used, a lynching. How worrisome is that when you have elected officials go out who people believe are authoritative on the subject, basically accusing our police of using arguably, I'll leave some room here, arguably one of the most peaceful ways to end a physical altercation with a hate crime?
Mm. Well, luckily she's not. Doesn't sound like she's trying to stir anything up with that comparison. It doesn't sound like doesn't sound like she's trying to make anyone mad about that. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. That's completely ridiculous. If one of my kids or if I was going to get arrested, I want to get arrested by people that know jiu-jitsu, because they're going to come in, they're going to be able to do it with the minimum force required. That's what you want police officers to do. And again, if you don't train people and you just have people learn a chokehold and that's it, then you're still not doing them justice. We need to do a full systemic change in the way we're training our police officers. Being a police officer is a freaking hard job.
Yeah.
Every single day. And you don't know if you don't know if the person you're pulling over is a mom that's with kids in the back going to soccer, or if that's a person with a pistol or that's going to assault you and try and kill you. You don't know. And that's what you live with every single day. So for us not to put them in those situations with the right tool to handle every one of those different situations is completely wrong for America to do that to our police officers right now.
And as people see in France, it potentially could end up harming far more people. Just like a professor at Harvard just came out yesterday where he said, defunding the police would result in thousands of more black lives being lost because of police not protecting other black citizens who often need it the most.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.